Hello and welcome, students. Okay, so in today's lesson, I will go over the previous work that I have assigned to you. We are going to be working in our Max book, our student book, pages 32, 33, and 34, and in our activity book, pages 24 and 25. I will go over the answers. I will read the articles, explain them to you, explain briefly state and dynamic, but you can go back to my state and dynamic video if you are uncertain of the grammar, and follow along and make sure your answers are correct. So let's begin. So here we have page 32. We have, before we begin, let's look at the pictures and say what you see in each one. What is the word for the type of science project or science subject shown in each picture? So from من اليسار we'll start, and it is we have biology, and then we have chemistry, biology, which is أحياء, and then we have chemistry, كيمياء, and we have physics, which is فيزياء. So start من اليسار. Okay, so that's what those pictures on top are showing. Number 2, we have read the words in the box. Which words refer to the types of science? What areas are covered in these types of science? Check the meaning of the words, and in what you don't know, check in the activity book, in the glossary in the back. So we already talked about these before we even started the module, and because it's important to know these harder words so that when we do work in the module, you are familiar with what they mean. Like I said, we said that organism means a very small living thing, which means كائن حي. We said that botany is talks about plants, and it is in Arabic علم النباتات. Zoology is all about animals and how they live and their habitat, and that is علم الحيوان. Ecology is the organism and their environment, يعني علم التكييف and الكائنات الحية. Environmental science is a mix of areas of science related to the environment, and that in Arabic is علم البيئة البيئية, which is خليط من العلوم والبيئية. And we said combine is to unite two or more different things together, which is يعني يربط. Branch, we have branch means one part of a large subject, which is fira. Interact, we said that it means to do something that can affect another, which is يعني in Arabic يتفاعل. And cell means the smallest particle in the body, which is الخلية. Okay, so so that's the vocabulary words. Now let's start reading. Science matters. So here it says read and listen to part 1 of an extract from a science radio program. Write down the questions that you hear about the 3 main areas of science. يعني اكتب أسئلة التي تستمعها من about science. We can, well, 3 is listening, so just forget about it. We're not going to do that. So let's just go down to read Science Matters. Here we have, says, do you like science? This is a question. Do you like science? Whatever you think of science, there is no doubt that it can be very surprising. Science tries to answer many of the questions that we like to ask about the world around us. Do you know, for example, that lightning is 10 times hotter than the sun? So lightning هو 10 times أسخن من الشمس. or that 100 million microorganisms live in our mouth? The three main areas of science are biology, chemistry, and physics. So the three main areas, this will be one question in our exam. The three main areas of science are biology, chemistry, and physics. Now, we said that biology is the study of living things. It includes the fields of botany, zoology, ecology, and environmental science. Chemistry, on the other hand, is the study of the building blocks of nature and how they combine to form the solids, liquids, and gases that make up everything. Now, physics is the branch of science that deals with matter and energy and how they interact. So, science tries to answer questions such as, why do you see lightning before we hear thunder? Why do we need to breathe in more air during exercise? What do oil and coil come from? So these are all questions that we think about and we want answers to. Okay. Let's move on to the next page. Now here we have discussed the questions that you have written in exercise 3. No, we didn't do that one. And 4, read and listen to part 2 and check your answers. Also, we're going to skip that, so we're just going to read this small article which says, well, we can answer like the question for 4. It says, discuss the questions you have written down in exercise 3, which is the questions that I just asked. Why do we see lightning before we hear thunder? Why do you need to breathe more air during exercise? And what do oil and coil come from? So here, why do we see lightning before we hear thunder? Well, the answer is because light travels faster than sound. Light travels faster than sound. And the next question that was in the article, why do we need to breathe air in more during exercise? So why do we need to breathe more air during exercise? Well, the answer is because the cells in our bodies need more oxygen when we exercise. Again, the cells in our bodies need more oxygen when we exercise. And then the last question in the article was, what do oil and coil come from? What do oil and coil come from? Well, oil and coil come from plants and animals that lived millions of years ago, okay? Oil and coil come from plants and animals that lived millions of years ago, and they deteriorated into land. That means their particles, the particles have the remainings of these plants and animals. And that's where we get oil and coil from. Okay, let's go down to 6. Here we have, let's read this small article. Physicists have shown us that light travels faster than sound. It is the fastest thing we know. Biologists explain that when we do exercise, the cells in our body need more air. Chemists have found that oil and coil come from plants and animals that lived millions and millions of years ago. Okay, here we have 6. Read and listen to the text again and answer the questions. So, what do the pronouns in bold refer to? What do the pronouns in bold refer to? Above we have it, and it means biology. It is referring to biology. We have they in line 8, and it means the building blocks of nature, talking about chemistry. And then we have another they in line 10, which is talking about matter and energy. And we have it in line 14, and it is referring to light. Okay, so that's number one. Number two, what's the importance of science? Yani, why is science so important? Science is important because it tries to answer many questions, many of the questions that we like to ask about the world around us. Again, what is the importance of science? Science is important because it tries to answer many of the questions that we humans like to ask about the world around us. 3. Why are ecology, botany, and zoology considered branches of biology? Explain your answer. Okay, now here, because they are branches that study living things like plants and animals, so that is why we call them, they're considered branches of biology. Because they're the study of living things like plants and animals, so these are considered to be branches. Number 4, if you want to know about how plants grow, which branch of science can be helpful? Explain. Okay, so if we want to know all about plants and how they grow, we would need to study botany, because botany is the study of plants. So your answer is number 4, botany, because it's the study of how plants grow. Okay, 5. Now here it says, in your opinion, what is the most important question that scientists were able to answer? Explain your choice. Now here, I think the most important question is, how is electricity made? How is electricity made? Why did I choose this? Because the generating electricity is very complicated. You know, the generating electricity is very complicated, and obviously it is used all over the world. So how is electricity made? That's my question. 6, and you can have your own questions, but just say, why did you choose that question? What would you like to know about it? 6 says, what other questions do you think scientists should answer? Yani, what other questions would you like scientists to answer? Are there any other living forms in the universe than those on Earth? Yani, are aliens, such thing? Are there any other living forms in the universe than those on Earth? That's just a question, but you can have your own question as well. 5 and 6 is in your own opinion. Okay, 7. Let's move along to the state and dynamic verbs. State and dynamic verbs. And we said the state verbs means الأفعال الثابتة أو السكون. And الأفعال الثابتة المستمرة, we use continuous, and they are like see, hear, what else? Let me go over it again so we are not confused. Okay, so it's if you, the state, or let's say the stative verbs are not physical actions, so you cannot see the action happening. For example, like believe or understand, need, suppose, remember. These are all not physical. You cannot see these. But remember, we almost never use the verbs in continuous form. We do not use the stative verbs in continuous form. For example, like I said, you don't say, I am understanding you. We cannot add an ing to understand and put it in a sentence, I am understanding you. The correct way is to say, I understand you. Okay? So, what is the difference between stative and dynamic verbs? You know, the dynamic has three groups, like I said. We have the dynamic verbs that are also known as progressive verbs, continuous verbs, and action verbs. So, you know, the stative verbs also are known as the non-continuous verbs, and we also have the mixed verbs. The dynamic verbs, like I said, they involve an action or an active process, like play, to eat, to speak. So we use dynamic verbs to form continuous tense, like I am playing with my friends. We can put the dynamic verbs into continuous form, like I am playing with my friends. She was eating lunch with him. We will be speaking to him later. So the dynamic is used in the continuous tense. The stative, not, almost never. Okay, so we said stative verbs are used to talk about states and situations, you know, and that continue for a long time. Like, you know, they include abstract verbs, like I said. Abstract verbs are to know, to want, to need. And then we also have the emotion verbs, such as, like I said, to love, to hate, to prefer. And the third one is the possession verbs, such as to have, to own, to belong. What does possession mean? Like something that is yours, something that you own. Okay, so like I said, abstract, we have emotion, and we have possession. So those are the three types of you know, verbs that include the stative verbs. And if you're still unsure, please go back to my stative and dynamic verbs. But just remember, stative is, you know, talks about states and situations that continue for a long time. And the dynamic, they involve actions and active process. Okay, so here it says exercise 7 says, read the sentences and circle the correct tense. Science answers many questions we are liking or like to ask. The correct answer is like. 2. Do you know or are you knowing that lightning is hotter than the sun? The correct answer is, do you know that lightning is hotter than the sun? 3. We are seeing lightning before we hear thunder, or we see lightning before we hear thunder. The correct answer is, we see lightning before we hear thunder. 4. At the moment we are doing an exercise, or at the moment we do an exercise. The correct answer is, at the moment we are doing an exercise. Now here, so 1 we said like, 2 know, 3 see, 4 is are doing. Now الأفعال في الجملة you know الأولى تأتي المستمر لأنها من أفعال التفكير أو المشاعر أو الحواس. Okay, like we said, they are from the emotion, the possession, and the abstract. So we said المشاعر والحس أو التفكير. And الفعل do في الجملة الرابعة, in the fourth sentence, يأتي المستمر, which is like at the moment. So at the moment, this is the دليل على that we need الفاعل المستمر, which is continuous. So when we see that we have at the moment, we know, okay, that it is continuous. So at the moment, we're doing something and it's continuing, okay? So that's why we know that we could put are doing, ing, because we have at the moment. It is happening and continuing. So that's why we chose are doing. Okay, now moving down to 8. Some of the following sentences are wrong. Put a tick next to the correct sentences and correct the wrong sentences in your notebook. Here we have, so how do we solve this? طريقة الحل إذا كان الفعل, if it's wrong, الفعل خطأ, نكتب الفعل بدون ing. We remove the ing and we نحذف أو أحذف are or remove are, am, is, and نحاول إنه تجيب الأول قبل before الإجابة. Okay, so I'm not sure you're knowing Samir. I'm not sure you're knowing Samir. Is this correct or is it wrong? I'm not sure they're knowing Samir. This is wrong, and the correct way to write this is I'm not sure they know Samir. Why? لأنه الفعل know لا يأتي المستمر. It's not continuous. So we do not have to add an ing. We just, it just no. 2, Zaina forgot to turn the lights off before she left the office. Zaina forgot to turn the lights off before she left the office. This one is correct. Yes. 3, do you know that our bodies are needing more oxygen when we do exercise? This one is wrong, and the correct one is, do you know that our bodies need more oxygen when we do exercise? So الفعل need لا يأتي إنه it's not مستمر. So we do not add an ing to need. So it just it doesn't become needing, it just stays need. 4, we have Karim is fixing his brother's bike at the moment. This one is correct. 4 is correct. 5 says he is wanting to be an archaeologist and discover hidden treasures. This one is wrong, and the correct way to write it is he wants. We remove the is and we remove the ing and we add an s to wants. He wants to be an archaeologist and discover hidden treasures. Why? Because الفعل want is not مستمر. So we do not add an ing, we just remove is and we add he wants. We add an s to want, so it becomes wants. 6, we have I am not liking extreme sports because they are dangerous. 6 is wrong. So the correct answer is I don't like extreme sports because they are dangerous. Why? Because like لا يأتي المستمر. Okay, it is not. So we do not say I am not liking. We do not add an ing to like. So it becomes I don't like extreme sports. 7, scientists believe that if we save energy, we protect the environment. And this is written correctly. Okay, next page. Here we have, it says, in pairs, ask and answer the following questions using correct verb form. Use complete sentences. Okay, you can ask each other, you can ask yourself, and it is, do you have an English dictionary? You could say, yes, I have, or no, I don't. 2, what do you think of science? What do you think of science? Your answer could be, I think science is very important. Very simple and short and clear. 3, does biology seem difficult? Does biology seem difficult؟ يعني هل يبدو العلوم الأحياء علم الأحياء صعب؟ You can say yes or no. No, it doesn't seem difficult, or you can say yes, it seems difficult. 4, what subjects do you like at school? What subjects do you like at school? ما المواضيع اللي بتحبها اللي بتفضل في المدرسة? You can say I like English and biology. I like English and chemistry. So it could be, your answer could be whatever your desire is. 5, what languages do you know? What languages do you know beside Arabic? Your answer could be, I know English, because you do know English. What languages do you know? I know English. 6, do you feel happy? Do you feel happy? I feel happy when I get high mark. I feel happy when my parents are happy. I feel happy when I see my friends. I feel happy when I accomplish. I feel happy when I am productive. So your answer can be whatever you feel happy about. Okay, 2 is listening. Skip that. 3 also is interviewer. Let's see. 3 also, yes. So let's go down to 4. Let's go all the way down to exercise 4. Here it says, complete the summary about the interview using the present simple or present continuous form of the verbs in the box. Okay, so here we have, again, complete the summary about the interview using the present simple or present continuous forms of the verbs in the box. So, من نكمل السبيس بالمستخدم صيغة المضارع البسيط which is present simple أو المستمر which is continuous من أفعال في in the box. So we have live يعني يعيش, carry out يعني يجري تجربة, produce ينتج, think يعني يقتعد, be يكون, react يعني react when you react to something, work يعني يعمل, and grow يزرع. Here we have Professor Allen is an environmental scientist. Professor Allen is an environmental scientist. He is working on his research project with tiny green plants. These tiny plants live, 3 is live, rivers, there should be in, these tiny plants live in rivers and in the sea. They react to sunlight. The scientists are carrying out experiments with these plants. They are growing them in huge numbers. When the plants grow, they produce a liquid. Scientists think that cars can use liquid in the future. Okay, so 1 is, 2 is working, 3 live, 4 react, 5 are carrying out, 6 are growing, 7 produce, 8 is think. 5 says, do you think that science is exciting? Which area of science do you think is the most important? Discuss with your partner, give reasons. Okay, for me, I think science is very exciting because it always brings new things. Chemistry is the most important area because it contributes a lot to the industrial field. So that's it. I think science is very exciting and it always brings new things. Scientists are always discovering new things, and science is very important because it contributes a lot to the world. So that's it. Now let's move along to the next page. Here we have it says, complete the table with the verbs from the box. Then choose 2 verbs from each column to write your own sentences. So, like we said, we have state, which means الأفعال الثابتة, which are like know, mean, and love. We have the state and dynamic, which is أفعال الثابت, والحركات, dynamic, which are things that that have that we can't see. And dynamic means الأفعال الحركة, which is run, study, eat. So under state, we have know, mean, love. State and dynamic, we have think, taste, and have. And dynamic, we have run, study, and eat. Now you're supposed to write, you're supposed to choose 2 verbs from each column and write your own sentences. You can write, some people know the secrets of success for the, for the state verb. For mean, you can write, I mean they rarely make any mistakes. يعني بعتقد إنه ما بيعملوا أي أخطاء. Another sentence you could for think, Leah thinks she is beautiful. For taste, you can say, I am tasting the soup. It can be in the continuous form. For run, we can, it is in the continuous form also. You can say the girls are running in the field. For study, that is also in the continuous, we are studying English at the moment. Again, we are studying English at the moment. So these are all sentences that you can write about these verbs. Next we have exercise 5, which is vocabulary. Solve these riddles to find out the words related to science. So, Munir, I use a telescope to observe stars in outer space. Who am I? So, who did we say uses a telescope and, علم النجوم in outer space? What is it? What do you have to study? It's astronomer, which means علم الفلك. Next, we have Jabir. I use a microscope a lot to observe and study the organs of animals. Who am I? علم الأحياء, which is biologist. Amal says, I study and forecast the weather conditions. Who am I? يعني هي درس الجو حالات الجو, and that is إيش راصد الجوي, which is meteorologist. And last one, Rhonda says, I don't only work in the laboratory, I study the outer layers of the earth. Who am I? She is علم تطبيقات الأرض, which is geologist. Geologist means علم تطبيقات الأرض. So that is the study of the outer layer of the earth. So that's a geologist. Now going to the next exercise, which is 6, and it says read the text and list all the words for the people connected with science. Then complete the table. This is a little bit hard, but just follow along with me. Here it says Muhammad ibn Zakaria al-Razi was a physician, chemist, musician, and a mathematician. Again, Muhammad was a physician, طبيب. He was a chemist, كيميائي. He was a musician, musician, موسيقار, musician. And he was a mathematician. Mathematician means اللي بدرس الرياضيات. Okay. He was born in Ray, near the city of Tehran, Iran. He worked at the Royal Hospital of Ray, then moved to the Muqtadari Hospital in Baghdad. Al-Razi was also a writer of many books on medical and scientific subjects. Al-Mansuri and Al-Hawi, his reviews of medicine were translated into several languages. Al-Razi was also a researcher. In chemistry, he was the first to produce sulfuric acid. As a biologist, Al-Razi developed an early system of classifying substances into plants, animals, and minerals. For all these reasons, Al-Razi is known as a very important scientist in history. Okay, so here we need to name the noun, which is for a person, اسم الشخص. So we have in the article, what are listed in the article. We have physician, okay, it's already written, which means طبيب. We have chemist, كيميائي, mathematician. We have biologist, علم الأحياء, and we have scientist, العالم. For the noun subject, okay, which is اسم الموضوع, we have physics, we have chemistry, we have math, or mathematics, we have biology, physics, فيزياء, chemistry, كيمياء, mathematics, رياضيات, biology, أحياء, and science, علوم. And then we have the adjectives are, the participle, which is, الصفة أو الأسماء الفاعل. We have physician, physical, فيزيائي, chemical, كيميائي, mathematical, رياضي, biological, and scientific, علمي. Okay, so going down to 7. Look at the first paragraph of the text. What theory do you think the text is going to explore? What theory do you think just by looking at the first, the first paragraph. Let's read the first paragraph and see. Why do you want to improve your study skills or write a book? Do you want to improve your study skills or write a book? It's a question. Do you want to become a distinguished student? Surrounding yourself with the right color might help. So, it's asking you if you want to improve your studying or would you rather write a book? It's asking you if you want to be, a student that is distinguished from other students, which means, more productive, more hardworking than other students. And it means that, and it's also telling you that if you surround yourself with the right colors, it, might help you. It will help. So the question of the effect color has on the brain has always amazed scientists. Many have witnessed that red makes people feel stronger and more powerful. Okay, so red, scientists prove that red makes people more stronger and powerful, especially the deep red color. In a study, researchers at a top university carried out tests on 600 people to see how well they used their skills. They were trying to test their hypotheses that the color red or blue affects us in different ways. The findings showed that people could remember details better when they looked at images against a red background, for example, a computer screen. On the other hand, they were able to be more creative when the background color was blue. So, the scientists found out that, the red color had had affected. They wanted to see if red or blue affected people in different ways. So the findings showed that people could remember details better when they looked at images against the red background. So if we have a red background, you're more likely to remember. That's why I write in red, so you guys do remember what the correct answers are. On the other hand, they were able to be more creative when the background color was blue. The hypothesis is that red, which is connected to the emergency and warning, like, we know that red, when we see a fire engine, like a fire truck, it's red. The traffic light, red means stop, and etc. Makes people feel more alert. So when you see, a red stop sign or, a fire truck, you're alert and you know that you have to stop, move out of the way. And they are able to pay attention to details, and it makes you pay attention. On the other hand, blue is a relaxing color, which helps to bring out people's creativity. So when you look at blue, you feel more relaxed. When you look at red, you have to be more alert. It brings your attention, and so on. So now moving to answer the following questions. Here it says, how did scientists carry out their research? how did scientists كيف العلماء how did they كيف عملوا الريسيرش تبعهم? Scientists carried out tests on 600 people. Scientists carried out their tests on 600 people. Number 2, according to the report's findings, which would be better background color for someone revising for a science test, and why? For a science test, it would be red because it makes you pay attention to details. So 2 would be red. 3, according to the report's findings, which would be a better background for someone writing a poem, why? Blue, because they said blue makes you more relaxed, and when you want to write a poem, you should feel relaxed and calm. 4, why do people respond to red with more focus and attention to details? Because red is associated with emergencies and warnings. When we see red, we know that, we'll remember the red stop sign, we'll remember the red fire truck. Just red is just to make you cautious and be more alert to details. 5, what type of red is likely to make people feel stronger and powerful? We said the deep red is likely to make people feel stronger and powerful because that's what it says from the article. And then 6 says, do you agree with the research you have read about? Why? Do you agree with what we had just read? Yes, I agree because it seems that colors have a strong influence on people. So again, yes, I agree because colors do have a strong influence on people. Okay, here I guess we reached the end, but I just want to go over distinguished, witnessed, and hypotheses. Distinguished, we said, is someone successful, respected, and admired. In Arabic, it means, I believe, mumayyaz, distinguished mumayyaz. Witness means to have knowledge of something from a personal observation and experience. So, in Arabic, witness يعني يشاهد يشاهد إشي صار, a personal observation or experience. And hypotheses means that a suggested idea that is not yet proved. Okay? A suggested idea that is not yet proved. In Arabic it means fardiyya. It just still, it's an idea, but scientists have not proved that it's true. Okay, so that concludes our pages, our work that you guys had previously to do, and those are the correct answers. Please make sure you have the correct answers, and if you have any questions about the state and dynamic, please refer back to the video that I had made for you about state and dynamic. And that's it for today's lesson. Have a great day.